Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The green screen is back. No, I will not apologize for it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to HIMediaTV. I am your host, Em from HIMediaTV, and welcome back to whatever this is. YouTube channel, I'm a podcast or whatever. Creativity has been a little burnt out lately, so I had an idea and I thought I'd do it and run with it. I spent 25 of my hard-earned dollars on this, so watch and share this SOB, alright? Alright. One of the big things that has been present... Oh, you're not supposed to see that. One of the things that has been present as of late has been these new prediction markets. You know, content creators that I like, such as, Vosh, Hassan, Kyle Kalinske, The Jam, have all talked about how all these prediction markets are awful. The mainstream media, not so much. They've been fairly complicit in this new financialization of, everything. I don't know. We live in hell. CoffeeZilla has a great video kind of breaking down what I'm about to go into. It's on a second channel. I highly recommend you go watching it. But places like Kalshi here, Polymarket, and others like other, prediction market financializations, very much like are fighting against being regulated as gambling and being regulated as securities, even though, as we'll see in this video, they're essentially kind of both. Even places like FanDuel and DraftKings, who, are the traditional, gambling outlets, also want to get into the prediction markets, so they left the national, gambling coalition lobbying group because they classified this shit as gambling, and DraftKings and FanDuel didn't want prediction markets to be classified as gambling because they want to be able to, service markets that otherwise they wouldn't be able to because of state law, because this is, of course, unregulated and we live in hell. But just a little bit ago, I said that prediction markets are both gambling and securities. But how do they work? Because all of these people criticizing them, all of these people lauding them, all of these people saying that they're the next true thing. The CEO of Kalshi literally said that they're planning on this to be the next S&P 500. How? How does this shit actually work? Because nobody's actually explained that to me. And so I, again, spent 25 of my hard-earned dollars to actually answer that question for you. And it's more insidious than you think, and we'll get into it. So the way that this nonsense works is it is a think like predictions with points on Twitch. Will Evan win this duel? Yes or no? Yes votes get all the points from the no votes, and vice versa, depending on who wins. Simple, right? Well, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Well, no. Lemon, difficult lemon. Anyways, on the surface, it's simple as, say, let's take this Chilean president runoff election, right? Margin of victory, will he win? Will he lose? Or rather, in this case, you can go even more detailed by literally just betting on the percentages of what's going to happen or not. But, in question, just to make it simpler, imagine this says, will this guy win the Chilean presidential election? Da-da-da-da. Burr. You bet on yes, you bet no. You can spend 39 cents for yes, 64 cents for no. The yeses will get the money of the no's, and the no's will get the money of the yeses, or whoever, depending on who wins. So it just seems like this seems like the digitalization of hey, do you think when this is the equivalent of my buddies Anthony and Czar saying, hey Anthony, yes Czar, When Evan over there uh makes that jump into the river that we told him not to, do you think he's going to hit the water or he's going to hit the dirt? I think he's going to hit the water. I don't think he will. I'll bet you $1 that he won't. I'll take that bet. And then I hit the dirt. Here's that $1. This is the equivalent of that. And fine, whatever. I don't see how this needs to be a multi-million-dollar market, but let's again look at the actual realities of this page and the unfortunates therein. As you can see, you aren't just betting on whether or not somebody wins. It's also like, do they win by how much? Or in the case of, if we go back, who will Trump talk to in December? Benjamin Netanyahu. Will he, won't he? Yes or no? Receipt, or like President Erdogan? Yes or no? Mamdani? Yes or no? Yada, 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 yada. And so on and so forth. And so you can take multiple positions on one outcome happening. Again, okay, it just sounds like gambling. Whatever. Where does the financialization aspect of it come in? I'll show you. These are the positions I took for this experiment. Again, $25 of my own money. I bet on long-term positions that, I'm very well informed politically and I kind of know what I'm talking about. Some of them are based off of my knowledge of geopolitics, domestic politics. The only thing I'm betting on is, will it happen sooner or later, rather. And that was kind of the things I picked. So, for example, the Democratic nominee of president in 2028, Gavin Newsom. We are 3 years away from that. I am praying to God this man isn't the nominee. This is more wishful thinking on my part, but he's a insane psychopath who's power hungry and would love and who literally will change his political beliefs on a dime if it means that he gets to have more power. Which countries will normalize relations with Israel before 2027? I say Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is a power-hungry hell state with absolutely no morals and is only devoted to profit and capitalism. So they are the most likely to normalize relationships with Israel. Who will win the governorship in Ohio? The Democratic Party, because the Republican Party is in the shitter, despite how awful the Democrats are. Powell out as chair before May 2026. Yeah, that's a safe bet. Trump hates his ass. Will Trump release any of the Epstein files? No, because he's in them. Will the ACA premium tax credits be extended? No, because the Democrats folded on a fucking pinky promise. And so on and so forth. So all of these are, fine. Let me just pick one for the second. What will Trump say during the Kennedy Center honors? I said, let me find my thing. Nah, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, I'm a professional YouTuber, by the way. Burr, 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 burr. So I said no to Gavin Newsom. Also, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think Kamala Harris is making a run for that again. I think she'd rather take Newsom's spot. But I digress. My point is here's a position I've bought. Remember what we talked about? Yes, no, maybe so on and so forth. Here we go. Here's the interesting bit. When I sell, I don't just take a bet on the position and then they hold the money until it's over. My bet was turned into a share or an asset of some kind that I can then sell to another person who wants to buy in. So I can sell the 3 contracts that I bought at the tune of a couple bucks to somebody else who wants to buy in at the no position. In layman's terms, I didn't just make a bet. I bought a share in that bet. And then I can cash out of that bet before the end result of it happens at any time. So what does that mean, right? So normally what happens is that when you bet, you buy in, you wait for the outcome, and you figure out if you get your money back or not. Usually, you don't if you lose. But if you see you're losing here, you can sell your position and, get some of your money back. This is where the financialization comes in. It is, it's unlike a stock, which is an asset that sticks around until the company fucking folds. Like these bet shares have an end state. Like they will stop existing at a point, of like, and here's the thing, like the company gets folded into, like, it folds, and then they sell all their assets to pay all their shareholders and debts. That doesn't exist here. So so not only does the lack of regulation with prediction markets lead it to somebody can quite literally create a prediction, get a bunch of people to bet on it one way or another, force the outcome of which to be in like X, Y, or Z, and then take the opposite position that will make them the most money, and then cash out. I bet it hasn't happened yet. May not be in a day. It may not be in a week. It might not even be in a month, but I will put a clock on it. At one point, a large streamer, is going to be heavily financially invested in a outcome that they directly control, and they are going to fold or fumble or do X or Y or Z specifically for this. I would not be surprised if there's a couple athletes that go to jail over doing this shit. And here is kind of the most insidious fact. So for those who aren't aware, when you buy stocks on the stock market, you buy a thing. A stock used to be an actual physical sheet of paper that proved you owned a part of the company, a shared part of a company. When you buy a share of a stock on the stock market, you are buying an actual thing. So let's just get that out the way. You are buying an actual thing. When you buy a share here, you're just buying a position. There is no tangible asset that comes with this. This is it, like this thing you see on screen, Democratic National, like this asset. If this asset of mine was worth $1,000 or whatever, this asset would disappear. It would just convert into cash, and now I gotta pay taxes on it. There are no protections here for like you being able to like borrow money against it like rich assholes do. But you're able to buy and sell your position out of here and treat it like a stock that you're treating bets like stocks. And the most wild thing is, if we look at this portfolio, my portfolio, if you look up here, you'll see interest 3.25 APY eligible. What does that mean? When you put your money in a bank, most bank accounts will have something called an interest rate. The interest rate is basically you leave the money in there, and at the end of the year, if you don't touch the money, more money will be in there that the bank gives you for as a perk of keeping your money in the bank. So they can then take that money in theory and use it in like lend it out to people in the community to start businesses or get people homes and things of that nature. Ideally, interest rates are dog shit because fractional reserve banking and because of fractional reserve banking and just bankers being the devil. But in theory, that's what interest rates are supposed to do. In the year of our Lord 2025, a high yield savings account, I have a high yield savings account of 3%. This is a 0.25% more than what I get in a traditional high yield savings account, which is just something I leave fucking money in and don't touch. So you're saying Kalshi will give me a 3.5% interest rate on money I just hold on their platform? Okay, whatever, sure. That's fine. I mean, it's not FDIC insured, which, meaning FDIC insurance, meaning the bank will, if a bank fails, you get up to $250,000 of the money you've kept in that bank back, insured by the federal government. It's basically to make sure that we don't have another, Great Depression, even though we're practically living in those times anyways. Whatever. Point is that I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I mean, I'm not putting all my money in here for savings. That's stupid, but more power to you. But then I hover over it. Earn variable interest on your open positions and idle cash. Open positions. That means, do you know what that means? If I had $250, which is the threshold needed to earn this, invested in Kalshi, in these bets, if I had $250 invested in just bets, no liquid cash, no idle cash rather, I would earn 3.25% interest on my positions. I could be losing money on all of them, still earning interest. This is the equivalent of Kalshi paying me to bet. They're paying you to bet money on these markets. Do you know what this is the equivalent of? This is the equivalent of... This is a combination of if Charles Schwab or any other banking institution that does stocks saw you had all of this money in the stock market and then was giving you interest in it. A reminder that, remember how I said earlier how stocks are just you buy a thing. You are buying a thing. This is the equivalent of what basically they're doing is that because, oh my god, my brain's broken. So let me refactor on how I'm going to talk about this. Because you're just buying bets, and because you're not buying an actual asset, they're paying you to stay on this platform. They're paying you to stay on this platform and to invest money here. A reminder, these are all bets. These are all bets. And they're treating these bets like not only functionally like stocks, they're also treating it like a bank account. This shit's the devil. I need you guys, I hope that me explaining this kind of helped to some degree explain why this is evil. Why this is not good. Oh my god, but this is peak end stage capitalism, y'all. We are so fucked. Oh, we're so screwed. Alright. Shit. Fuck. I'm gonna see you guys later. I might go to this. I might swing by a dispensary and call a bitch for a booty call, because I I need to not feel anything for a little bit after this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, your time, and your viewership. This has been HIMediaTV. I have been your host, Evan from HIMediaTV. God, we're fucked. Alright, I'm sending you to end screen, Evan. Have a good one, y'all. Ugh.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to talk to me outside of this video, outside of live streams, or just join the community and be a part of it, you can do so at himedia.gg/discord. Discord links there. We'd love to have you. And given the financial situation of the economy right now, I know this is a tall ask, but if you have the scratch to spare, please consider donating and becoming a supporter at himedia.gg/tip. All of our perks are serviced through our Discord channel, including early access videos, exclusive videos, and more. Your generosity is a blessing, and $1 a month is a boon to my mental health. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate you.
So I made a video this morning. So you know about prediction markets and all that stuff, right? So basically there is this poly